go out first.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Are we recording? I think we are recording, right? Okay. Welcome to our series of podcasts. What we call this? Land your next home. Land your next home. Our next home. Land your next home. Okay, so today we have this very reputable friend with an architectural background and who has many years of experience taking care of houses from development to reconstruction in a reputable architectural firm. And today we have Ken Ng.
Hi, and we have Paul Teo here. Paul is a very experienced landed trader that has been in the industry for more than 18 years. And he have done all sorts of landed projects from developers, from small houses to developer with developer for cluster housing around this area.
Yeah, of course, flex a bit. My son always say flex a bit. The development that I co-developed with developers was 8 units. They redeveloped the land and newly erected 8 cluster units, all fully sold, worth 30 million.
Oh, that's a lot.
Hey, what about your best track record so far dealing with landed homes?
Okay, landed homes, right? We fortunately have been involved in Sandy Island itself, which is the prestigious award bungalow in Sentosa itself. So it's 18 houses of almost GCB houses at the area. So you calculate the cost, it will be a lot.
Wow, cost is it about more than 200 million?
Correct.
Okay, anyway, small fry, big fry, doesn't matter. Today, what are we here to talk about this Land Your Next Home series? It will be a few part series that we want to educate you guys here to better understand and equip yourself embarking on this landed journey, right? Which can be interesting and also a little bit uncertain. What are we getting ourselves into, right? Okay.
Yes.
So what are we going to talk about? Hey, but by the way, this season I realized keep raining, you know.
Correct.
Yeah, and I know a lot of my clients, not a lot, some of my clients, they actually recently text me about their homes, especially penthouse and even landed houses.
Correct.
They have a bit of water seepage issues, especially those who bought resale houses. But how do we handle this kind of challenges? How do we know when we are buying into a house that have foolproof, doesn't have any water seepage issues? Ken?
Correct. For water seepage issue, right, very simply we can put it that if people are staying inside that houses, right, whichever rains that come into that place, right, the owner actually stay inside will actually know that it's seeping of water.
Now owners know, yes, of course, I guess.
So they rectify the whole things together with the tenants, whichever is stay inside this area. So most likely they will be able to rectify it if it's leak lah. So most likely, if the house is older stay or has been older stay for a very long time, right, you don't have to be worried about the water seepage issue.
Yeah, agree. I mean, if you imagine you're a buyer going to view a landed house, and you know this family has been staying there with the elderly, with the young, they definitely would not be staying in a house that is leaking, right? Of course, I think there are also exceptions when the weather has been a little bit crazy. Monsoon has been a little bit more challenging these days, and there's bound to be a little bit of water seepage here and there. But what more during a viewing can we just look out for to minimize all these kind of challenges from happening?
Correct. A very interesting way to find out more is that is there a new freshly painted area over the area.
Interesting.
That will actually identify that.
So we smell we touch the wall and smell whether the paint is there.
No, we don't have to smell it. You just look at it. Yeah. Correct.
So I guess you're right, Ken, because I do bring a lot of buyers. We bring our buyers out for viewing as well. Sometimes we cannot help but notice, hey, how come this house? We ask them about the last renovation, which was done, say, for example, 6, 7, 8 years ago. But you sense the house, especially the rooftop, has been freshly painted, and if there's no need to be painting your roof and your last renovation was done 8 years, 9 years ago, there's something that you want to take note of, right, Ken?
Correct. I think that's a very good point that you pointed it out.
Yeah. So, I mean, of course, the monsoon season is exceptional. We pray for also good weathers. I mean, apart from this rain itself, what part of the house should we look out for when we are coming to view a landed as well?
Correct. When you view a landed, right, of course, once you see that it's landed, right, means that it comes with the land. So the gardening area is also quite important for us to look around.
So in terms of the landscape-wise, I mean, we all have different styles, right? Whether we go and bring them to see the house first and see the land later, or enjoy and see the landscape first, then we go into the house later. But what are the things to look out for? Let's say we are looking at the land itself. What are the things to look out for in the landed itself when we're walking the land?
Correct. The landed, we will walk through the landed, right? We normally spot stuff that is built within the setback area.
Setback area, interesting. Tell me more.
The setback area are the areas where we are supposed to build away from the boundary line.
Away from.
Correct. So the front will be 7.5, the side will be 2 meter, and the back will be 2 meters lah.
Oh, yeah.
So whichever things that built within this, we should be a bit concerned of it.
So if, like for example, some houses they are rather big, but they have a very huge yard at the back. Then suddenly, boom! There's a hut there. There's a hut there, right? Then the hut there, they close it up. Then they put a lot of storage thing there, but they are actually very near to the wall. Is this something that we actually have the rights to ask the owner or the agent to open up and let us see what's inside?
Of course.
What do we look out for?
Okay, because when we are buying for houses over there, right, we are looking the whole thing, right, including the small little hut behind. The hut most likely will be maybe a little bit unapproved.
Okay, a bit unapproved, but I mean, I'm more concerned about what is inside the hut because houses, especially you are buying old houses, mosquitoes sometimes can be breeding there, or even more scarier is termites that might be lurking in the house, which they are very sneaky. We don't know where they are hiding their next nest. So is this something that we need to be more careful of when we are looking at the house?
Correct. Of course, when we have a hut over there, we should actually go inside and take a look. The foremost important thing is the public health for you to the structural integrity of the hut. Whether will it harm you or in any way, that will be the most important thing that we look after. So after that will be things like, for example, whether is there any places in this monsoon season where you raise and collect the water and start to breed mosquito.
Wow.
And start to have things to come out from it.
Yeah, I think this kind of thing, I've spoken to clients for the past many years, and I realized some of these tips were not commonly shared with buyers, especially buying your next landed home. Of course, as a licensed professional, I think it is our due diligence to share with you the pros and also the challenges that we might be facing so that we get a complete picture. And when it comes to mosquitoes, termites, or maybe even structural, it can be very alarming for us to get the full picture.
Correct.
But you mentioned something about neighbors, whether they are in harmony with the structure that extends all the way to the back. What is your thoughts about this?
Correct. Of course, for the structure in your yards, right, the small huts, right, there's only 2 ways to look into it. The first way is the original way is the BCA where are they allowed by legally, whether putting them there is correct or for
BCA has a set of regulation.
Correct.
What are the do's and don'ts and guidelines, right?
Correct.
Definitely, yeah. We live in Singapore, there's a guideline, no?
Correct. Then the second one will be the community, whether the communities related, are they aware of this thing, are they together, would like this place to be in place of it, whether will it cause harm to them or things like that.
Yeah, you spoke about this. I think the community is important, especially even if you are staying in the landed. Even as a bungalow itself, you still have neighbors.
Correct.
Okay, for a lot of terrace houses, corner terrace and semi-Ds that we deal with, it's also important for us to look at the estate, the neighbors, because sometimes when we have in harmony, our yard, we can be a little bit more creative to customize it to our own needs, provided that there's harmony among the whole community, the living itself, the estate, that the neighbors also agree that we do what we do for our own use. And most of the times, the developments, they may not submit these modifications for approval. And actually, it's completely okay for buyers as long as you are buying something that you're aware what has been approved, what is pending approval, you know what you're going into, because it's also a functional thing. So I'm going to touch something a little bit more sensitive. What about those, would there be any concern, let's say, if the neighbors close up or maybe the buyer close up the yard, then would this actually greatly affect the valuation of the house when it comes to purchasing?
Oh, okay. Normally in purchasing, right, in the valuation of the house, right, normally this type of stuff will not be included inside this area. So the purchase will normally fall back to the last approved plan. You'll go towards that direction.
I think these kind of things comes with experience, because a lot of buyers, they get very worried when they view landed houses, whether this one is approved or not, is it illegal, and they get very concerned, especially you're buying a $3, $4, $5, $6, $7 million houses, not knowing what you're buying into. I think it's important to work with a professional, and of course get the relevant bodies, the bankers, to give you the assurance to make sure that you go through your contract properly before you get yourself into one. And this is a journey that you want to be completely safe, right? To make sure that you're buying into a house And for most landed homes that we have sold, we do know that buyers don't just stay there 3 years and sell. Usually it's a mid-term to a long-term stay. And you want to have a peace of mind when you're buying your next landed home, right? And a lot more interesting things I think we'll be sharing next week for our topic. I heard you share about, some trees that's going out into the road and probably manholes inside the house. Are they proper or do they add value? Right? Maybe we share with them in the next episode.
Can.
Yeah. So I look forward to see you in our next episode. What's the name? Land Your Next Home, right? Is it? Land Your Next Home. Okay. This is Paul Teo.
This is Ken Ng.
I'll see you soon. Okay. Stop here. Okay, Ma. Did I miss anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed quite a bit, but it's okay.